Let's jump into it. Number 1. Alexander the Great left no heir. Alexander the Great died at the very early age of 32, and despite his conquests, when he died in 323 BC, he left behind the largest empire the world had ever known without a clear successor, and this was a mistake that was going to pose a huge problem later on. His only heir was an unborn child, and his half-brother, Aridaeus, suffered from mental disabilities. With no succession plan in place, Alexander's top generals, known as the Diadochi, scrambled for control. This power vacuum triggered nearly 5 decades of brutal infighting, known as the Wars of the Diadochi. Once loyal allies turned on each other, each seeking a piece of the empire. By 281 BC, Alexander's dream of a unified empire was dead. His territories fractured into rival kingdoms, and nearly all his family members, including his son Alexander IV, were murdered. This disarray helped clear the path for Rome's eventual rise. All of it stemmed from one critical mistake. One of history's greatest conquerors never planned for what would come after his death. Number 2. Rome's trust in a Germanic nobleman. It all starts with this man, Publius Quintilius Varus, a Roman general stationed in Germania who, for some reason, placed deep trust in one of his officers, who was a Germanic noble named Arminius. Arminius was trained in Rome and was a veteran of its army. For the most part, he seemed pretty loyal. But all this time, he was secretly rallying Germanic tribes against Roman rule. That summer, Arminius warned Varus of a supposed rebellion. Varus believed him and marched 15,000 to 20,000 troops into the Teutoburg forest, dense terrain that slowed the army and disrupted their formations. But it was a trap set by Arminius, and in the Battle of the Teutoburg forest in 9 AD, Arminius launched an ambush that annihilated the Roman legions. For his costly mistake, Varus decided to take his own life amid the chaos. The loss was devastating. The mistake led to Rome abandoning its ambitions beyond the Rhine. And Emperor Augustus never attempted to conquer northern Germany again. Number 3. Insulting Genghis Khan's diplomats. One of the deadliest military campaigns in history began with what seemed like a diplomatic blunder. In the early 1200s, Genghis Khan was technically at peace with the Khwarezmian Empire. The two powers had even fought alongside each other. But when a Mongol trade caravan entered Khwarezmian territory, it was attacked by a local governor who looted the goods and killed the merchants. Instead of launching an immediate invasion, Genghis Khan sent envoys demanding justice. The Shah of Khwarezm responded in not the best way. He had one ambassador executed and returned his severed head with the others. In Mongol culture, harming messengers was a grave insult equal to war. Genghis Khan retaliated with overwhelming force, launching an invasion that razed cities and annihilated the Khwarezmian Empire. Millions perished. The Mongol rampage didn't stop there, and they continued westward into Persia, the Middle East, and even parts of Europe. Had the Shah simply punished the corrupt governor and apologized, the Mongols, then busy with their Chinese campaigns, might never have invaded. Number 4. The German U-110. On its maiden patrol in March 1941, the German submarine U-110 managed to damage 2 Allied ships, but was forced to cut its mission short due to a gun mishap that injured crew members. Its second patrol in April to May 1941 changed the course of World War II. After sinking several ships in the North Atlantic, U-110 was attacked by British warships on May 9, 1941. Hit by depth charges, the sub was forced to surface. British forces surrounded the crippled vessel as part of Operation Primrose. At first, they opened fire, but ceased once it became clear the crew was surrendering. U-110's captain, Fritz Julius Lemp, realized the submarine wasn't sinking and attempted to return to destroy the Enigma machine on board, but vanished, likely drowning. Meanwhile, British sailors boarded the vessel and seized the Enigma device along with critical code books. These gave Bletchley Park codebreakers the tools needed to decode German naval communications. To keep their breakthrough secret, the British let U-110 sink and reported that it had gone down with all sensitive materials intact. Without this discovery, all of us today would be speaking German. Number 5. The fall of the Berlin Wall. Günter Schabowski had recently become the unofficial spokesperson for East Germany's ruling Politburo, the top body of the Communist Party. During a meeting, officials discussed easing travel restrictions to West Germany, but they hadn't planned to announce it publicly yet. At a press conference, Schabowski unexpectedly brought up the topic. When a journalist asked when the new rules would take effect, Schabowski, unsure and flipping through his notes, replied, "As far as I know, immediately." That single word sparked a revolution. East Berliners, believing the border was now open for the first time in 28 years, flooded to the Berlin Wall. Border guards, with no clear instructions but aware of the press conference, eventually opened the gates. The wall quickly became the site of a massive celebration. People climbed it, crossed freely, hugged, and cheered. Around 11:30 p.m. on November 9th, 1989, the Berlin Wall began to fall. Some say Schabowski made a mistake. Others believe he knew exactly what he was doing. Number 6. The Byzantine rejection of an engineer. In 1452, Orban, a skilled engineer and iron founder from Hungary, offered his services to Byzantine Emperor Constantine XI. But the empire lacked the funds and resources to support his work. Rejected, Orban turned to Ottoman Sultan Mehmed II, who was preparing for an attack on Constantinople. Mehmed immediately saw the value in Orban's ideas and gave him full support. Within 3 months, Orban built a colossal cannon known as the Basilica. It was so large that 60 oxen were needed to transport it. The weapon played a critical role in the 1453 siege of Constantinople, which ultimately led to the fall of the Byzantine Empire, one that had lasted over 1,000 years. Number 7. The harsh terms of the Treaty of Versailles. Signed in 1919, the Treaty of Versailles imposed severe penalties on Germany after World War I. It forced Germany to accept full responsibility for the war, give up territories, limit its military, and pay huge reparations. Many Germans felt deeply betrayed, especially since they expected fairer treatment based on President Wilson's 14 points. Economist John Maynard Keynes famously criticized the treaty, calling it a Carthaginian peace designed to destroy Germany economically and politically. The resulting resentment, combined with the economic chaos of the Great Depression, fueled the rise of an angry man with a rather unique stash, Adolf Hitler. While not the only cause of World War II, the treaty played a major role in paving the way for Nazism. Number 8. The Maginot Line miscalculation. After World War I, France constructed the Maginot Line, a vast system of bunkers, artillery, and underground tunnels along its border with Germany. Built in the 1930s, it was intended to delay a German invasion and give France time to respond. However, the line had weak points, especially in the Ardennes forest and along the Belgian frontier, areas mistakenly thought to be impassable for large armies. In 1940, Germany bypassed the line through these very regions, launching a rapid and unexpected blitzkrieg that caught the Allies by surprise. The Maginot Line ultimately failed to protect France, which fell shortly after. Number 9. Russia's sale of Alaska. In 1867, the Russian Empire sold Alaska to the United States for $7.2 million, around 2 cents per acre. After its defeat in the Crimean War, Russia feared it couldn't defend Alaska, especially from nearby British-controlled Canada. Selling it to the US was seen as a way to block British influence. At the time, many Americans mocked the deal, calling it Seward's Folly, after Secretary of State William Seward. They saw Alaska as a frozen, useless wasteland. However, the purchase proved incredibly valuable. It gave the US a strong Pacific foothold and access to over 586,000 square miles rich in oil, gold, and minerals, and not to mention a very strategic location for the inevitable World War III. Number 10. Columbus's wrong calculation. Christopher Columbus stumbled upon the Americas due to a significant miscalculation. Ancient thinkers such as Eratosthenes had already estimated Earth's size accurately. But Columbus believed Earth was much smaller and that Asia extended further east than it actually does. He argued that Japan could be reached by sailing west from Europe in just a few weeks. Most experts disagreed. Had Columbus used the correct figures, he might have realized the trip was far too long and never set sail. Ironically, it was only because of his mistake and the existence of the Americas that his voyage led to a historic discovery. We'll leave it here for today. More of this coming soon, so do consider subscribing.